Oh, nostalgia, also known as a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place of happy personal associations. I grew up playing tons of video games, so much so that I have so much nostalgia for some treasured games in my past. Now let me say, this list was incredibly hard to make, probably my hardest yet. Now, no two people had the same experiences growing up, so your list will definitely be different than mine. Also, this isn't based on how much I like the games overall, but how much I treasured them growing up. Some of my favorite games ever, like numerous Mario RPGs, Fire Emblem, and Final Fantasy games, aren't on the list, because I didn't understand to play them back then as a kid, so I love them now, but this is based on my childhood, so with all that said, here we go. Oh yes, Wario Land 2. This is such a fascinating and unique game to me, based on the sheer idea of you are immortal. You play as the quote-unquote bad guy, and there's so many alternate paths. I still remember how I accidentally discovered one where you literally let Wario sleep, the bad guy just yeet him out of his castle, and you have to reclaim your castle. This game also helped encourage exploration and 100% completion. While I prefer Wario World and Wario Land 4, I didn't grow up with them, so with that said, Wario Land 2, a solid start to the list. I feel everyone has a game or series they got into as a kid that's low-key their niche interest for me. It's two games that play very similar, and those being Bomberman Generation and Jetters for Nintendo GameCube. Both have a single-player campaign with Pokemon-like characters called Carabombs, and two major bosses per world, and both have amazing battle modes. Let's dive into the first one I played, that being Generation. For Generation, I have plenty of memories going through the story. The bosses were interesting, like these Crush Bombers look like they come from Mega Man, and there's legit a Power Rangers Megazord boss, and a mummy which traumatized me as a child. But the battle mode was so fun, with my favorite mode being this one where you can't use bombs, and instead dodge them falling from the sky. Jetters is actually based off an anime only released in Japan. I remember being blown away by that on early YouTube. When I found that, anyways, back to the actual game. I remember this one having the ability to play as Max, basically the Knuckles or Piccolo to Bomberman. As for the battle mode, while I prefer the side modes in Generation, I prefer the regular battle in this game due to playing as numerous characters, including the bosses. These are both nostalgic for their own reasons, and pretty underrated too. We all kinda had the game on the computer we were addicted to for some. It was Roller Coaster Tycoon, some of it was The Sims, some of it was Toontown, some of it was World of Warcraft, and for some, including me, it was a little game called RuneScape. Oh hell yes, I was addicted to this game way more than I like to admit. It also taught me how to learn the consequences of my own actions, such as going guns blazing into dangerous areas. I lost a lot of good items by running into the wilderness. I also learned about being scammed. Some dude lied to me and made me trade all my good items, and he dipped. Oh well. The good memories outweighed the bad, such as the music and my personal favorite skills. Those being stuff like woodcutting, fire making, smithing, and all the physical combat skills. Only reason why this wasn't higher is some of the updates done, I don't know. The game just wasn't the same after those updates, but I will always treasure the good vibes.
The Techno Union Army is at your disposal, Count.
I grew up watching a lot of Star Wars, and I love playing with a lot of Legos, and well, they made a game of it. I always had good memories playing co-op of this, and love how they had to slightly alter the continuity for that, such as Luke and Vader tag teaming the Emperor. The cutscenes with their lack of voice acting has such a good charm to it. I also was blown back by the roster, and getting all the power bricks and mini kits, which I unfortunately never accomplished the latter, but as a kid, those mini kits definitely were serious bragging rights. Not every memory of this game was perfect as well. Some of those vehicle levels drove me up the wall. But once again, these good vibes outweigh the bad vibes. Overall, a game I had so much time playing as a kid, and just an iconic part of my childhood. We all know about Pokemon. I bet you're wondering, which Pokemon generation? Well, I love Gen 5 the most, but by the point I started it, I was in my preteen phase. Gen 4 I absolutely love, but unfortunately I really got turned off by it at first. Because, well, the only Gen 4 game I played right as a kid was Pearl, and that kind of scared me from the much superior Platinum. I never actually had Generation 2 to myself, only played on my cousin's Game Boy. Gen 1 was actually really confusing to me even as a kid. So that leaves one. Cue the trumpets. I love these games so much. The first Pokemon games I can actually understand how it works. First, I had myself, in this case, Ruby, and the first game I beat. From memory, my team was, well, just my starter Swampert, being overall as fuck with stuff like Zigzagoon and HM Slaves. We've all been there as a kid. From there on, Swampert became tied for my favorite Pokemon. Overall, favorite starter. As for my other favorite Pokemon, I was fascinated when my older siblings traded me a Bagon on my second playthrough, which I had no idea where it came from. I remember how frustrating it was disobeying me constantly before truly obeying me. Not gonna lie, I felt like my own version of Ash's Charizard. As for my second playthrough team, I had a squad of Swampert, Salamence, Breloom, Aggron, Wailord, and Camerupt. I eventually played Emerald, loved it too, and I really love Fire Red, but they don't go quite compared to Ruby in my personal childhood.
Get a load of this!
Now, time for a Sonic game. I played the OG trilogy on the Mega Collection, but every game in a zone, which made me really rage quit when I was little. Adventure 2 was great, but I only rented it back then. Heroes was fun, and if it wasn't for what I'm about to say, it would have been picked for this list, but Sonic Adventure, oh boy, my childhood. This game was lit, and I am actually referring to the more infamous DX version on GameCube. This game was something else. The music always vibed with me. Almost every track is a certified banger to this day. The levels, whether good or bad, always stuck out to me. The cutscenes and voice acting cracked me up like, damn, was this game amazing. Sure, I always found Big and Amy's stories annoying, but their 4 stories were so much fun. My favorite is obviously Sonic's, who was the main focus. My biggest fuck yeah moment as a kid with this was not being the final boss, no. It was being that damn Egg Viper at the end of Sonic story. That boss took so many tries, but I never gave up on it. In fact, get a load of this! Lived in my head rent-free, even before the memes. Did I mention how amazing this game's soundtrack was? Not only the level themes, but the character themes from Knuckles' rap to It Doesn't Matter, one of the most empowering and motivating songs in my life to this day. What else can I say? But Sonic Adventure DX will always have a special place in my heart. Ooh, now for our Mario platformer. This is a tough one. First off, let me give respect to the Mario Advance remakes. I played this a lot on road trips, and it's even my ideal way of playing Mario 3. Super Mario Sunshine was so fun, but also really frustrating for some obvious moments, so it's not this. I actually sucked ass in Mario 1. New Super Mario Bros. DS was a lot of fun too. Mario Galaxy was a blast, actually my favorite of these, but not my most nostalgic. My most nostalgic Mario platformer is Super Mario 64 DS. Yup, I have more fond memories of the DS remake. Let me explain why. When I first got the Nintendo DS, I got this game and another game later on the list. I played the shit out of this game. Luigi was so overpowered in this game, and because of this, I always preferred Luigi over Mario in like pretty much everything. It was actually the first game I ever 100%, including every star and every minigame. Let me get to that elephant in the room. Yes, I love Mario 64, but one, my Nintendo 64 broke, and two, did that game have Casino Luigi, or well, Luigi actually in the game? Yeah, that's what I thought. These minigames are fucking lit. I really love the pinball, trampoline, wanted, and the numerous Luigi Casino minigames. But back to the main game, it was fun like usual. And honestly, the controls were never 100% bad in my opinion. I managed to somehow 100% the story when I was 11, but hey, with all that said, the greatest game I will always treasure and view as the superior version of Super Mario 64. Now for my Zelda pick. While it's not my favorite of the ones I played back then, it was the most nostalgic, that being the first Zelda game I've ever beaten. That being... Yup, Ocarina of Time was the first Legend of Zelda game I've ever beaten. And dang, was beating this game a journey. I'm getting through the child segment pretty easily thinking, oh, happy-go-lucky adventure with some just casual monsters. But you literally grow up and things got dark. In fact, this is the first darker game, quote-unquote, I played. So there were moments that scared the shit out of me as a kid, like Redead, being ambushed by Saltro at night, and anything to do with the Shadow Temple. Oh my god, that was terrifying. Ocarina of Time was the most nostalgic game for the Zelda series as a kid, since the other contenders had hurdles. Wind Waker's final Triforce padding on the way, Minish Cap had a brutal difficulty spike near the end. Majora's Mask is actually my favorite, but the time limit gave me anxiety as a kid. Twilight Princess started off way too slow before it became super good, and I wasn't the best at Link to the Past. So that's why Ocarina of Time is my most nostalgic Zelda game. Also, the ending was the first time I ever teared up at the game with the Master Sword being put back in its place. Here's actually a tiebreaker between two Mario Kart games that, well, if you're seeing the choice for previous entries, there's a theme of the entry where I don't get stuck on, I actually beat it. And I love Double Dash, but I kind of sucked at it. Could never get past 150cc, which gives me two contenders that are tying for second place. Those being Mario Kart DS and Mario Kart Wii. Let's start with DS. Mario Kart DS was actually the first Mario Kart game I officially beat. This game made Dry Bones my favorite Mario minion, and I always loved how wacky the vehicles were, from a vacuum, tank, tractor, and a freaking excavator. The mission mode, unironically, was how I learned to snake in this game before I knew what that term was. My favorite course as a kid were always the same. Check it out here, shameless plug. My most notable memory of this in 2007 was playing multiplayer with my cousin, who had this game and unlocked this character called Rob. And keep in mind, this is before Brawl, and I was like, how the heck did you unlock him, and what Mario games does this guy appear in? So that motivated me to unlock him. And it happened right before his Brawl release, so that's like man, that was like a fascinating journey. So now we're moving on to Mario Kart Wii. So this was, for the longest time, this was my favorite Mario Kart game. Like, ever since I got it back on the Wii in 2008, until 8 Deluxe with the DLC eventually overthrew it. Mario Kart Wii was the most nostalgic Mario Kart when it came to multiplayer. And I remember obsessively trying to figure out how to unlock everything. And my god, this game built my patience with the amount of Grand Prix I screwed up on, just because I got fucking bombarded by literally every item in the game on lap 3. I remember everything about this game fondly. Like, I loved Funky Kong and Flame Runner before I knew the internet discovered it also. But god, this game is like my favorite. This game is like my favorite new course in the entire series. Like, shameless plug right here. But again, so like, anyways, this another. God, these two games are so amazing. But all that said, we got one more entry in the list, and this is also another tie. Guys, it's Super Smash Bros. Melee and Brawl. Where do I begin with these games? Holy shit. Oh my god, these games help introduce me to one of my favorite video game franchises, as well as many other franchises in this franchise. Let's start with the first one of the two I played. Super Smash Bros. Melee! While yes, I have played the OG N64 Smash, I didn't play much because unfortunately our N64 broke. But man, Melee was something else. I played the fuck out of this game with my siblings. I remember unlocking characters like the Fire Emblem Duo and Game & Watch being like, who the heck is this? I remember how exhausting Mewtwo unlock was, figuring out how to actually unlock him. I was one of the several to fall for the Sonic and Tails prank. I actually did ask thought Bomberman was a top secret character. He wasn't, but the thought that counts. I was also terrified when I first discovered Giga Bowser as a kid. I played so much of this game that I obsessively played every single player mode with everyone. My favorites in this game were Link, Falco, Fox, Marth, Dr. Mario, Ganondorf, and well, we'll get to him later. And now for Super Smash Bros. Brawl. God, this is the most hyped for a game I was as a kid. I remember my morning ritual checking the Super Smash Bros. Dojo every single weekday before school. I was so mind blown by that first trailer, and then fucking Sonic the Hedgehog joins. I was so damn heartbroken by the delays, but man, the day I got it was a day in history, and it was amazing. This gamer's roster was spoiled to me by YouTube, so curveballs like Rob and Wolf weren't a surprise to me when I unlocked them. But man, I had fun memories of vibing with Subspace Emissary and those cutscenes. I used to play out my own fan fictions of characters in this game. It was something else. My mains in this game were, and still are, Link, Falco, Wolf, Ike, Marth, Fox. And well, in this game, and every single Smash Bros. Game, since the dawn of time to this day, and probably forever, Captain Falcon. Let's talk about him. Oh my god, Captain Falcon is my favorite Smash Bros. Character ever. And if that changes, the space-time continuum is disrupted. Anyways, I dealt with rough stuff in my childhood, from severe bullying and depression. But these games were an escape from reality where I felt safe and content. And the guy I always turned to was Captain Falcon. I don't know why he just clicked with me all these years. Could be his iconic quotes, could be his playstyle. But whatever the case is, these games and him got me through so much. And hey, Legendary Captain, my channel name, was inspired by the man himself. So because of all of this, Super Smash Bros. Melee and Brawl easily earned the #1 spot on this list. Whew. This was a bit of an emotional end to a pretty empowering list. Not sure what topic I'll cover next, but with all that said, have a great day, honey bubbas.